Hi guys! Today we're going to be talking about the stay cue. I am in my barn right now and just wanted to talk about the importance of it and some starter things before we carry on. The stay cue is important for so many things, and it's actually one of the first things that I taught Coda to do when I got him. I got him when he was a baby. He was only 10 months old, and I am a fan of taking pictures, and I wanted to be able to take pictures of him standing nicely and relatively in the same position for his development. I wanted to see what he looked like at a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and now we're at 5 years. I also knew that, as you can see in my barn, I do not have cross ties. It's pretty bare minimum, I guess. So I knew, and my tack stuff or my grooming stuff, you can't really see it, but it's out there by the boat. And I knew that whenever grooming, or eventually when I would get to tacking up, that's a far distance, and I wanted him to be able to stay while I went and got things and got the hoof pick or whatever it was. And so it's important for tacking, it's important for untacking. When I come down, you'll see a video. I'm up there and I untack there. I wanted him to be able to stay. I also knew that I want to go on trail rides with him, and at some points whenever you're on a trail ride, you have to move things out of the way, and I wanted to be able to move things and also stay and take pictures if there was a good video or a background. So that was another driving reason. Also for mounting, you want your horse to be able to stay while you fix your stirrups, whatever. I also knew that I wanted him to stay for whenever I move things around my makeshift arena. You're gonna find yourself, whether you're moving jumps or whatever you may do, it comes in handy for a lot of things. The thing to keep in mind with the stay cue, you don't need any props. You absolutely can. And if you do, a stationary target is one of them. This is mine. Or mats of some kind. Either of them, if you use, make sure that they're familiar with it and know what they are and what they're used for before you teach the stay cue. When I started in the most comfortable place, lowest energy place, which is right here. For Coda, that is where it was. For you, it may be somewhere different. After we got the stay cue in the barn and I was able to walk all the way across the barn with him standing, we moved it to outside, still in the field, and I did actually use the mat to help with that because the field is much larger, and that helped bring clarity to the cue and with the change of context. And then you start to work with walking more around them, more in front of them, more behind them. Just know that whenever you change context, expect that behavior to come down a little bit. So if you have it absolutely solid and you can walk up and down this barn all day long and he's just standing there, don't expect the same thing in the field right away. Start from back to scratch. Use aids if you need to, and work out from there. You have to gauge them. It may be just a shift that you can move before they want to follow you. It's easier to start on the side than it is the front of them or behind them, because they will tend to want to turn and follow you. You have to gauge your horse that you have for the day that you are doing it. For him, I started, and anybody who starts, you want to start somewhere where they're very comfortable, they're very calm, the energy is low. So we're going to start off. I will show it with the mat, just because I don't have a cone to put this in. So my signal is going to be a stop, and I will verbally say stay, stay. And I step a little bit back. Yes. Stay. Yes. Yes. Increase the duration, and it might be just a step and a second, and a step and 2 seconds. Stay. Yes. And then you can start to shift around them, like behind. Again, only a step at a time. Stay. Yes. And you have to gauge how ready they are and what their body is saying to you. Stay. He is pretty good at this, so he is fine and can stay for quite a while. We have increased our duration a lot. Eventually you move towards the back of them. You can move to the front of them, but you have to go in small increments. Yes. Small increments. Engage that. Don't forget to do the other side too. Yes. And then eventually you will change the context. When you feel he is comfortable or she is comfortable where you started, change the context and go outside or wherever your next place would be. And remember, start back from ground zero. Lower your criteria, take a step back, and it may be fine, but that's where you want to start. And take some pictures because, would you look at this face? It's so cute! Who doesn't want to take pictures of it?
So here we have a change of context. We are now in the field. I did not choose to have a mat, but this is where you would have a mat or a stationary target if you so choose. And we are starting back at ground zero. I only take a step back, another step, sideways, back again. Making sure that he's comfortable and okay with everything. Again, this is a different day and I'm going a little bit further back and waiting a little bit longer. And then I'm mimicking moving things. If you're going to choose this, make sure that they are, of course, familiar and aware of these movements without the stay cue, which he is, so that's why I am combining the two. But if they're not, then don't expect your stay cue to be solid. Here's another change of context. We only moved a little bit, but it's still different. And I don't go as far away. I make sure that he's comfortable. And then I walk. And I'm not walking quickly because I want him to be used to all different movements, all different things of me doing while remaining staying. I move different things because a lot of times, as you see, I have a lot of stuff around. I am moving things and I want him to stay put while I move whatever it is that I am going to move. And he is comfortable with it. This is our routine when we come down from the barn. I usually untack here. You'll see that green bucket. It does have grain in it and it is his jackpot, but I don't give him his jackpot until I get back into the barn. So sometimes we do struggle with him trying not to sneak it. And when I do take off the saddle here, I did forget to tell him to stay. And I didn't realize that he wasn't staying until I turned around and he got a sneak attack. But once I adjust him and back to where I want him to be, he isn't tempted by the green anymore. So to review, the stay cue is invaluable to have in your toolbox for something that your horse knows. You start small, a step, maybe two. Increase your duration from a second to 2 seconds to 10 seconds. And you do that until you are comfortable in one spot. And when you change context, go back to ground zero and start again with 1 step, then 2 step, and 1 second staying and 2 seconds staying, etc. And you build up from there. And every time you change context, you want to change and go back to ground zero again. The more you do this in the more areas that are different or a change of context, the better and more solid that your stay cue will be.